Hello everyone and welcome back to the Valorant in-depth series. Today I'm going to be going over rushing bomb sites. Now this is going to be more theoretical, it's not going to be specific bomb sites. This is going to be how to make rushing bomb sites work for you no matter what map you're playing on, no matter what bomb sites you actually want to rush. This is how you go about rushing the bomb site. I'm going to say before we get into the video, I'm going to be doing viewer VOD reviews every Friday. So if you're interested in getting your VOD reviewed or you had specific questions that you wanted to work on, make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video so you can get more information on that there. So let's go and get into it. Okay, so when we're talking about rushing a site in Valorant, it's completely different than CSGO. We have people who completely lock down a site and make it where you pretty much just can't enter. In CSGO, you can just run through your smokes and take aim battles. That's completely fine. In this game, we have Sage, we have Cypher, and we have Breach. Those are three people I consider the hard site deniers because they can essentially stop you from running into a site. Breach just slows you down a lot, but Sage and Cypher really completely stop your push, honestly. So what you want to do is press tab, look at the enemy team, see who they have on their team. So if they have a Sage, a Cypher, and a Breach, don't rush a site, period. Unless you're playing Haven and you know that they're not going to be at some specific bomb site, you just can't rush a site. Don't commit to it. It's just not going to work for you often. But if they don't have one of those players, or you know how to play around it, I'm going to teach you how to actually bait out utility usage and play around those people. So if they don't have a Cypher on their team, and I know Sage is playing mid, right? I've gathered that information. I can take my team and just completely rush B every single time until Sage decides to match it. Because whenever Sage decides to match it, then we can do the same thing for A. But you can't always do that. Sometimes you just want to bait out utility. So what I'm going to do is maybe I have 4 people rushing B. I'm going to walk up mid and just see if Sage is going to throw her wall down, right? I'm ready for this PQ haul. Sage is going to throw her wall down 9 times out of 10 whenever she hears footsteps walking up mid. After that, I can spray through it or just go run with my team, but I baited out the wall. That's the most important thing you want to do. After you spray through the wall goes down, you can walk up again, she'll throw her slow. Happens almost every single time. Once those 2 abilities out of the way, she only has another slow. If you can bait that out, then your entire team can rush A with you, and that's perfect. If they have their Sage, who's essentially just a standing body at this point, she has nothing else except for a heal. You can just rush down side because they have nothing else to stop you. It's just an aim battle versus a Sage with no utility. So that's what you want to do. You can't rush site at 1:35 in the round. You have to slow it down, bait out utility like that, or play around the enemy's team comp. So that's the basics of this is where we're deciding to rush a site. You bait out the utility or play against people who don't have hard site denial. Okay, so you figured out which sites you actually want to rush. So let's talk about preparation really quick. I've just had a quick clip from Tins. It's a round that they played. It's actually a really good round. So what he's doing is he's setting up for the round. He's going to smoke off all the way through ramps and all the way through heaven. This is just a standard setup from Tins. And the reason Viper's so good is because you can keep popping that over and over, and you can keep going in and baiting out that utility. But like I said, you don't usually want to rush a site if they have people like Sage, Cypher, Breach, unless you get a pick, which is exactly what happens in this round. His Brimstone, who's entry fragging, gets a pick for him. They don't actually have a Phoenix, so the Brimstone's kind of the entry fragger. Okay, the round starts to develop, they get the pick, they immediately want to rush forward, and their entire team knows that. They got the pick, they're going forward. Tins actually pops his smoke here to block off their ramps because they mollied right here. So they need to be safe whenever they're pushing through to the site. That way they don't have to worry about people on the left, they just want to focus on the big angles. They get mollied off here, so they decide to just sit and wait, which is actually completely fine because they have a path through to C2 the bomb site. They know that the enemy's not retaking control of the bomb site. They're sitting in a stagnant position. Okay, so if you see the setup, they smoked off the most important areas, right? So screens at the very back, that's a very tough angle to hold, or a very tough angle to deal with if you're a attacker rushing into the site because they're so far away and they can quickly dip back behind and slow you down a lot. So they smoked that off. And they also have heaven smoked off here. What you don't want to do is smoke off all the way across site where you have to run through that. I see that so often. The preparation should be, you should be smoking off the most important angles that are really difficult to deal with. Like heaven, like screens, you could even smoke off a little bit backside if for some reason you find that difficult to deal with, but you need to go in and clear some angles. Because if your entire team runs in and dies to one person, then you are probably going to lose that round anyway. You need to be able to go in, clear the site. Don't smoke off where you can't clear the site. So this preparation is actually really nuts. Unfortunately, 2 of his teammates get picked on the entry by the Brimstone right there. You saw that. But they still go in and take the site anyway. You don't want to delay the momentum. You saw that as soon as his team died, they still push in. and then immediately Tens goes and gets set up for his hold. And we'll talk about holds in just a second, but you saw the preparation. They smoked off the most important angles, and they waited. They didn't push through too much utility. They waited, kept control of the site because they were looking down the main hallway, and then they pushed in. That's the most important thing. If you get delayed, which you're going to get delayed, you need to keep as much control as possible. You don't give up on the push and rotate all the way back around, and you don't go over aggressive and die to the first guy. You go in and you take the 50-50 aim battle. If the first person dies, you trade, and then you keep going. That's the most important part. You keep going. Once you've committed to the rush, you commit to the rush. Trust in the preparation that you already set up. All right, so let's talk about clearing the site. In the previous clip, you saw what a preparation should look like. And then you saw them clear the site a little bit, and in the next clip, you're going to see them clear the site again. So I just want to do a quick walkthrough hypothetically and tell you what I would be thinking about when I'm actually clearing the site. So first of all, you always want to check the problem angles, right? Even if you are at 99% sure that no one's going to be there, get eyes on it and actually check it. So this isn't actually on the site, but something like this, you would have to check it. Whenever you come in, you check the most important angle, which is cubby there, and then you want to swing wide, make sure no one's behind you. Because you're running on site really fast, it's really easy for someone to just sit there and wait for you to come in, and the next person is definitely not going to check it, and they're all going to get shot. So as the entry fragger, it's your job to clear literally every close and important angle before you actually get all the way onto site and take everything. You have to make sure you push all the way through site and take everything. Whenever you're on B side on bind, it's up to you whether you want to clear all the way into CT or clear elbow or not. Those are things you can smoke off and fall back from and not have to actually clear. But whenever it comes to site itself, anyone that can be a threat to the bomb planter, you have to clear that angle. I see a lot of people, they don't check cubby, and that person gets double kills a lot of time when people pushing all the way through. They won't check inside, or this guy will be tucked off right here, and the bomb plant will go to shoot, or they'll go to plant the bomb immediately. He'll get shot and then cleared out. So what you want to do is, as a team, you rush through, make sure you get eyes on every little part of the site. Then the bomb planter can start planning, and as soon as you get eyes on everything, you immediately want to swap over to the setting up for the hold portion of it. So that's what I would do whenever I'm taking over a site and clearing. You have to clear every nook and cranny of everything. So far, the round's gone really well. You're setting up for the hold. You should be thinking to yourself, what should you hold, where the enemy is going to come from, and where should you hold it from? And the basic answer is you want to hold the most aggressive angle that you can while not putting yourself in danger and being able to rotate back. So first of all, beginning of the round, Tens tries to take mid control. They smoke him off. So he immediately goes to rotate with his team to go around and just take the A site. You see the Brimstone set it up. Standard setup as always. The only thing that's not covered is ramps, which Tens trains on the whole time. As soon as he's to the point where he can rotate with his team immediately, he leaves ramps. Who cares about it? Let's go take site. Notice that everyone's going and taking the site together. Once his team has sight and he knows they're safe, then he can fall back and start thinking about his hold. He does it immediately. Before the raise even starts to plant, the site's clear. He knows he needs to get in position as fast as possible. And you'll see where his teammates actually start to set up. So ramps is taken care of. Tens is playing that. He wants to go back and check sewers because he saw Brimstone. So this is a good check. And then as soon as he notices that they're not there, he goes back up. He notices that no one's actually been playing ramps for a while. So he's going to go check that because his team hasn't ran into anybody. He winds up catching somebody. So they know now, obviously you see what he's peeking into. They know now that the only place that people could be coming from is ramps, right? Or that's the most important place because his team hasn't seen anybody so far. Tens actually goes down to 3 people, and you see where the change comes in. If you notice, Sage went from being bottom right side of A from our viewpoint, she goes to the left side because she wants to hold a more aggressive angle she can fall back from. Once Tens dies, though, she gets a little antsy, and you see where she's playing now. She's playing super far back just so she can play safe. They know that this is not a good round for them to be in because they don't have any external protection. They just have to hold sight as long as possible so they just don't lose the round. You see Sage realizes that, and she actually rotates all the way to the right to hold a more safe angle with her 3 teammates, and Brimstone's just kind of left out in the dust. He uses his ult to try to slow it down, which he does, but he still dies for it. And then the enemy team starts to push in. But you'll see, because they waited so long and the enemy had to push in so far to actually take the fights, that whenever the raise finally dies to the Brimstone, it took them so long to get control of the site that the bomb just blows up and they lose the round anyway. So that's what you're looking for whenever you're defending, or holding the retake, essentially. You want to hold aggressive angles that you can fall back from and delay the enemy from actually getting sight. So Brimstone slowed him down, and Sage rotated all the way back around. She wanted to have a more aggressive angle, but she realized it's not a safe place for her to be in. She'll just die if they come out of there. She got back to the other side, delayed him a little bit more, and then Raze delayed him even further until the bomb actually blew up. So you want to hold those safe but aggressive angles where you can rotate away from it to delay the round over and over and over. That's what you're looking for whenever you're looking for holding from the retake. Okay, so honestly, I think that's the ins and outs for how I go about rushing bomb sites and what I think about. Make sure to leave suggestions in the comments down below. That's how I pick out what to do for these videos, the most liked ones. I add those to the list. If you are interested in me doing a VOD review for one of your VODs, just record it, and then I'm going to put a link or an email in the description below. Just send it to that email and I'll pick them out. Make sure you ask me one or two questions about specific things you wanted me to take a look at and try to help you improve on. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a nice day and peace out.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you, baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chilling, kicking it, kissed by the sun.